So here's what happens with My Hero Academia. I'll be watching an episode and be mildly entertained when out of nowhere something happens that grips me by the heart and makes me shed a tear. Whether it be Uraraka calling her dad to talk about her loss in the sports festival, Kirishima yelling out to Bakugo to take his hand and Bakugo unquestioningly accepting it, or Kaminari saving everyone by imagining that he's protecting what is most dear to his heart. My Hero Academia does bursts of emotion really well, but above all others shines one scene that did it best: Tsu's confession to her friends after the Battle of Kamino Ward. During the disastrous invasion of the summer training camp by the League of Villains, Bakugo was captured and many students were hospitalized. Regrouping in the hospital, spurred on by Kirishima, the students debate what to do. Tsuyu Asui warns her friends that if they go out and save Bakugo on their own, they would be breaking the law and acting like villains rather than heroes. Despite Tsu's warning, Kirishima, Shoto, Momo, Deku, and even Ida decide to take matters into their own hands and launch a covert rescue mission to save Bakugo. In part thanks to their efforts, the rescue mission is successful and Bakugo is saved. The students then move into their new dorms, which were built for their safety following the attack at the training camp. And as a bit of fun to counter the recent dark events, they hold a contest to see whose dorm setup is the best. However, Tsu is nowhere to be seen, as she hides away in her room and doesn't participate. But at the end of the contest, she's waiting outside and tells her friends about feelings that she had been bottling up inside. From Tsu's perspective of recent events, she thought she'd gotten through to her friends and stopped them from being law-breaking vigilantes by telling them that such actions would make them villainous. She realized her words were harsh, but it was worth it to stop her friends from doing something that they would regret. But in reality, they went ahead with the mission anyway, and she had no idea at all. And when she eventually did find out, it was indirectly through Mr. Aizawa, who chastised the entire class for not trying to stop the group who saved Bakugo. Which of course in reality, she did try to do. So on learning this, she has a flood of emotions. On one hand, she feels incapable as a person and a friend because she wasn't able to stop them.
I thought I'd stopped you, but it turns out I was worthless, a complete failure, and suddenly I had no idea what to say.
It's incredibly sad to hear her think of herself as a failure, but it's made even worse by the fact that she thought she did stop her friends. So when she found out that her friends went along with their plan anyway, there was a great disconnect between what she thought her friends were thinking and what they actually were. They valued her input less than she thought. It's a big reality shock for her, and it's incredibly sad. At the same time, she feels ashamed and broken by what her friends must have thought of her. They risked their lives for Bakugo and must have hated her for thinking of them as villains, when in reality she didn't mean it that way at all.
My heart was hurting, and the things I said must have upset you.
This mix of emotions made her feel so bad that she felt it was wrong to have fun with her friends, and stayed in her room rather than taking part in the dorm room contest. But all this did was make her feel even worse, so she finally decided to confront them about it.
It made me so sad to be without you. That's why I wanted to talk to you, even if I'm still not sure how I'm supposed to be feeling. I wanted you to know so we can hang out and talk and have a good time again.
There's so much sad stuff going on with this particular aspect of the scene. There's the fact that she had been silently suffering for a while and that none of her friends had even noticed. There's the self-imposed punishment aspect, where she feels like she's such a bad person that she doesn't deserve to have fun. And there's the incredible level of maturity in confronting her friends about it, and letting her feelings be known, even if she isn't even aware of exactly what she's feeling. It's infinitely better than bottling it up forever and building up a resentment for her friends or herself. So Tsu explains all these feelings to her friends, and they all comfort each other, exchange forgiveness and apologies, and have a nice healthy group crying session to let it all out, and it's perfect. But putting aside the content of the scene completely, what really captures my heart is the fact that this entire situation is incredibly trivial. She's making a big deal out of something that isn't a big deal at all. By suggesting her friends might be acting like villains, all she did was say something slightly disheartening to them, and they didn't even take it to heart at all. But to her, her harsh words became her entire world, and it's so sad and cute and perfect, and is one of those sudden bursts of emotion that My Hero Academia does so well.